So we have a preview of the upcoming Peter Pan movie that Disney is somehow, well, making with all these live actions remakes that we absolutely did not need. Now, saying that Disney is in big trouble is an understatement. We got these numbers from last year. 100 billion lost while pushing woke politics in 2022. Too many things led to this point in history when the giant of entertainment, who has all these brands under their wings, well, are about to fall. Woke Disney's year of enduring box office bumps, subscriber losses, and layoffs. We're talking briefly about 2022. First, that Tim Allen free Lightyear fails at the box office. I sincerely don't think that was just one scene that made that movie bomb. I don't think it should be that easy, because that would mean that a movie could be successful too just because one is scene, and that doesn't happen. So I think the story was not engaging. The way it was portrayed, we were expecting to hear Tim Allen's voice in that movie, but didn't happen. But you know that Disney is really in trouble, not only because they are planning to do Deadpool 3, bringing back Wolverine, not from the dead, but from a timeline before he died on Logan, whatever. And they are that desperate to be planning Toy Story 5. This is, I don't know, a zombie story, I guess, because this is way past. I think if they had finished at Toy Story 3, it would have been perfect. In fact, they could have finished at Toy Story 2, because that was the pinnacle of the Toy Story universe. But my opinion, it's coming back. They have to make money, and well, Tim Allen is glad to be back. Besides, Disney filmed with the whole alphabet. Tim discussing his crush loses almost 150 million. Again, I don't think that was the reason this movie lost money. I think it's a myriad of reasons, or a myriad of boxes that these productions have to check. You know, the diversity, the inclusion, the discussion of these topics, and it gets so bloated with things that do not have to do with the main storyline, and the storyline itself is so hard to follow, and the teasers and the trailers are so hard to understand the actual plot of the movie. I'm not saying that you have to reveal the trailer or the plot of the movie in the trailer. That is nonsense. But many people went to this movie, Strange World, thinking it was set up in space. They were actually convinced that they were going to see a space movie, because that's what they saw in the trailer. So it's interesting that not even the setting was clear. Maybe that was intentional, but people did not like that misleading and all the the pushing of the agenda, all those check boxes, those tiny check boxes that have to be ticked on every Disney production so far. What's more, Bob Iger returns to fix Disney after leaving as CEO in 2020. This deserves a video on its own. Disney Plus loses 2.4 million subscribers and the company slashes 7,000 jobs. This also needs its own video, because the layoffs and their current more layoffs have to do with human resources and the diversity and inclusion departments, which we have to say they need to make money, and these departments are not directly related with the money-making part of the company. So you can imagine that this is going to be the first departments to go. And besides, because they treat with people, this we're talking about human resources and the inclusivity and all, this is mostly women that is going to be affected. So you can imagine the headlines that women is going to be affected. Sadly, I don't like when people are fired from jobs. People have to pay the bills. People have families to support. And I think there are very few families that can be supported with only one income. So that's not pretty at all. But the problem is that this company, as many others, got so bloated with non-essential personnel that when it's not that it went bloated, because maybe you can be a bit bloated, right? I don't think that should be a problem. But if you begin pushing all those woke productions that are going nowhere with audiences over and over again, and well, the money begins to run out, it's like the clock is gonna be taken at any point. It's gonna happen anytime soon. Disney Plus, this is much further. Proud Family teaches white fragility to kids in children's show. This show went as far as to include the N word in a context that I think it was not the most appropriate. And you can ask me, Jesus, is there any appropriate way to include the N word? And I could say that there is, because if you read Huckleberry Finn, if children read Huckleberry Finn, they could have an understanding that why that word should not be used, or what is the intention of that word, and what was the vibes of that word. And then children will understand, hey, that is very hurting. That is how you call certain people at some point of time. So it will be really insulting if you use that nowadays. But you learn it reading Huckleberry Finn, for example, in a way that you understand the nuances of the word that you are, well, that why it is bad to say that word. It's just like in the words fat or greedy, all those words that are trying to delete and remove from Roald Dahl's books, which is insane. It's not the word itself, because it's the word fat, for example, was related to gluttony. And if you want to learn why gluttony is bad in so many ways, but it's undeniable that you need the word fat at some point. So it's not like you're learning it automatically to demean people who are fat. No, it's that you learn something. You need the adjective. It's just a word. But these people are treating everyone like snowflakes. Like no one has the spine or the grit or the backbone to stand words that are common use. This is just going insane. And this comic from Base Comics on Twitter shows it very well. Go woke, go broke. I can't wait to see the next Marvel movie. Iron Man is dead. Who is in the movie? Iron Girl, I guess. If superheroes are played out, I'll watch Lord of the Rings. Well, Tom Bombadil is going to Broadway as a musical. At least I always have James Bond. He's a crier now. That's what we have. This is the current state of this craze, and I don't know what to tell you. And so far, Disney had the benefit of the parks to keep the cash flowing in. But now we have this, just in. Governor Ron DeSantis just officially signed into law the removal of Walt Disney's special tax privilege, appointing a state board and ensuring debts are not transferred to taxpayers. All right, that is bad news to Disney's cash flow. And they had seen this coming from a while ago, and this must be one of the reasons Bob Chapek was fired Sunday night during an Elton John concert, like out of the blue, bringing Bob Iger back. And Bob Iger was the one who set this all up. And I wanted to talk about these kind of things, about why you are bringing Peter Pan back. If we have such classics as Hook, you have told that story many times, and you are even including girls in the Lost Boys group. The Lost Boys were just boys for a reason. There is a reason why there are just Lost Boys and not Lost Girls. Lost Boys, they are boys who fall out of their prams when the nurse is looking the other way, and if they are not claimed in 7 days, they are sent far away to the Neverland. There are no lost girls because, as Peter explains, girls are far too clever to fall out of their prams. So, if you have girls in the Lost Boys, then it means that girls are not that clever after all? It's insane. This is the exact opposite of what the story of you want to tell. To be fair, I don't have that much of a problem with race swaps, but in fact, I thought he was Latino for real. But my question is, if you want to be inclusive, why not create other stories or stories that have to do with those races and those cultures, such as RRR? I'm not saying that Disney could make a movie like RRR, but well, it has the production muscle to create something like this. And even these movies are snubbed in, this woke fests like the Oscars for no reason. We don't understand that. I understand that India could only nominate one movie for the International Film Award, but any other category, this movie could be there. Why not? It was an amazing movie that portrayed a culture in a beautiful and exciting way. Why can't Hollywood do that? Why do they insist on swapping race on classic stories, which, by the way, have been told 4 or 5 times in the greatest way possible? And of course, you know that the white guy is gonna be the bad guy, right? As usual, let me know what you think about this in the comments. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. Remember, much love and bliss.